Hi, this is Kim Reads Urantia. Nice to see you. And sure, we're going to read from Urantia, but first we're going to read from Light the Flame by Andrew Harvey. Okay. And this is by Sir Walter Raleigh. Sir Walter Raleigh, as you know, was an English explorer under Queen Elizabeth's reign. He lived from 1552 to 1618, and an explorer. And of course, we are all cosmic explorers here. At least that's how I feel about it. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you. This is The Passionate Man's Pilgrimage. Give me my scallop shell of quiet, my staff of faith to walk upon, my scrip of joy, immortal diet, my bottle of salvation. My bottle of salvation. Right. My gown of glory, hope's true gauge. And thus I'll take my pilgrimage. Sir Walter Raleigh. So, the passionate man's pilgrimage. He's going out and searching for adventures to find more wealth and experience. So experience is our cup. When I talk about my bottle of salvation, I'm not really talking about drink, alcohol. I don't know what Sir Raleigh's talking about, right? But I'm talking about my cup of life's experience, the sorrows as well as the joys, the all of the things that I experience in my life, the struggles and the victories and the defeats, it's all part of that bottle of salvation. I have to embrace it all. Embrace it all. I reject none of it. It's my discovery. And so I discover the value of my life, and so I am discovered. Okay, let's go here. So we're on paper 16, the 7 Master Spirits. Section 9, Reality of Human Consciousness. The cosmic mind endowed, adjuster indwelt, personal creature possesses innate recognition, realization of energy reality, mind reality, and spirit reality. The will creature is thus equipped to discern the fact, the law, and the love of God. Aside from these 3 inalienables of human consciousness, all human experience is really subjective, except that intuitive realization of validity attaches to the unification of these 3 universe reality responses of cosmic recognition. Okay, and we're referring back to the previous section of the will creature is thus equipped to discern the fact, the law, and the love of God. The fact, the law, and the love of God. The previous section talks about the mathematical or logical recognition of the uniformity of physical causation, the reasoned recognition of the obligation of moral conduct, that's the law, the faith grasp of the fellowship worship of deity associated with loving service of humanity, the fact, the law, and the love. The God-discerning mortal is able to sense the unification value of these three cosmic qualities in the evolution of the surviving soul. Man's supreme undertaking in the physical tabernacle, where the moral mind collaborates with the indwelling divine spirit to dualize the immortal soul. From its earliest inception, the soul is real. It has cosmic survival qualities. Sorry, itchy nose. If mortal man fails to survive natural death, the real spiritual values of his human experience survive as a part of the continuing experience of the thought adjuster. The personality values of such a non-survivor persist as a factor in the personality of the actualizing supreme being. Such persisting qualities of personality are deprived of identity, but not of experiential values accumulated during the mortal life in the flesh. The survival of identity is dependent on the survival of the immortal soul of Urantia status and increasing divine value. Personality identity survives in and by the survival of the soul. Okay, so whatever, even if a mortal being chooses not to survive, all of their experiences that are valuable spiritually are conserved through their thought adjuster and through the supreme being. Human self-consciousness implies the recognition of the reality of selves other than the conscious self, and further implies that such awareness is mutual, that the self is known as it knows. This is shown in a purely human manner in man's social life. But you cannot become so absolutely certain of a fellow being's reality as you can of the reality of the presence of God that lives within you. So, the social consciousness is not inalienable like the God consciousness. It is a cultural development and is dependent on knowledge, symbols, and the contributions of the constitutive endowments of man, science, morality, and religion. And these cosmic gifts socialized constitute civilization. The self is known as it knows. Okay. This is fascinating to me, that you cannot become so absolutely certain of a fellow being's reality as you can of the reality of the presence of God. Wow. So it's like, I'm talking to somebody, I'm hanging out with even my kids, and have to say, you may or may not be a real person. But I can be sure that God is real. See, it's so opposite of what we're normally thinking when we see our fellow beings here. We're so convinced of this physical realm of reality and of the existence of other beings, of the people that we walk and talk and work with and commune with on a daily basis. But we're less sure of God's reality, usually. It says the opposite is true. God is experienced within you, and you know that God exists. But I'm never all that sure other people are experiencing God. I know that God offers those experiences to them, but they don't know how to achieve that. That's so interesting. These gifts here. Okay, civilizations are unstable because they are not cosmic. They are not innate in the individuals of the races. They must be nurtured by the combined contributions of the constitutive factors of man, science, morality, and religion. Civilizations come and go, but science, morality, and religion always survive the crash. Jesus not only revealed God to man, but he also made a new revelation of man to himself and to other men. Man thus becomes so beautifully real because Jesus had so much of God in his life. And the realization, recognition of God is inalienable and constitutive in all men. Unselfishness, aside from parental instinct, is not altogether natural. Other persons are not naturally loved or socially served. Okay, so, right, it's not altogether natural to be unselfish. That's to be a learned response, then. It requires the enlightenment of reason, morality, and the urge of religion, God knowingness, to generate an unselfish and altruistic social order. Man's own personality awareness, self-consciousness, is also directly dependent on the very fact of innate other awareness. This innate ability to recognize and grasp the reality of other personality, ranging from the human to the divine. Unselfish social consciousness must be, at bottom, a religious consciousness. That is, if it is objective, otherwise it is a purely subjective philosophic abstraction, and therefore devoid of love. Only a God-knowing individual can love another person as he loves himself. Okay. Okay, so would that be only a God-knowing individual can love another person as he loves himself? So if you're able to do that, does that mean that you are God-knowing, whether you're conscious of it or not? I think so. So there's all these people that love each other, but they say they're atheists. But, I think that we have a very circumscribed notion of what God is and what God isn't. And it's more than we know, than we've allowed ourselves to know, to partake of. Self-consciousness is in essence a communal consciousness, God and man, Father and Son, Creator and creature. In human self-consciousness, 4 universe reality realizations are latent and inherent. 1, the quest for knowledge, the logic of science. 2, the quest for moral values, the sense of duty. 3, the quest for spiritual values, the religious experience. 4, the quest for personality values, the ability to recognize the reality of God as a personality and the concurrent realization of our fraternal relationship with fellow personalities. You become conscious of man as your creature brother because you are already conscious of God as your creator father. Fatherhood is the relationship out of which we reason ourselves into the recognition of brotherhood. And fatherhood becomes or may become a universe reality to all mortal creatures because the Father has himself bestowed personality upon all such beings and has encircuited them within the grasp of the universal personality circuit. We worship God first because he is, then because he is in us, and last because we are in him. Because we are in him. Yeah. It is strange that the cosmic mind should be self-consciously aware of its own source. The infinite mind of the infinite spirit, and at the same time conscious of the physical reality of the far-flung universes, the spiritual reality of the eternal Son, and the personality reality. No, is it strange? Not it is strange. Is it strange that the cosmic mind should be self-consciously aware of its own source, the infinite mind of the infinite spirit, and at the same time conscious of the physical reality of the far-flung universes, the spiritual reality of the eternal Son, and the personality reality of the universal Father, sponsored by a universal censor from Uversa. Very nice. Yeah. So self-consciousness would the understanding of our self leads us, the more we explore ourselves, leads us to consciousness of our source, our Father in heaven. Okay. All right, that's enough for today, and I thank you very much here, and I love you all, and have a very nice day. Okay. All right. Bye.